Hi, my name is Steve Kapela, and I'm Director of Problem Gambling Treatment, Prevention, and Recovery Support Services at the Zeph Center. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about my story today. When I was 13 years old, I broke my hips in a particularly horrible way and ended up addicted to morphine. Um, Life went on for 35 years, steadily getting worse. I was an alcoholic, addicted to cocaine, crack cocaine, every drug I could get my hands on. I was in and out of jails. Spent a couple years living in abandoned buildings and in dope houses. And finally, it's 47 years old in jail. I said, you know what? This is not what you're supposed to be doing with your life, Steve. And I sobered up and I spent 2 years working on me in 12-step recovery because I started doing drugs at 13 years old and I didn't know how to be an adult. And that's where I went to go to learn. And at 50 years old, I got a job working in a drug and alcohol treatment center. And I said, as a counselor assistant, and I said, if that's what you're going to do, then you better be the best at it you can be. And at 50, I went to college and I earned my bachelor's degree and master's degree in social work. And now I have a string of 29 letters behind my name. And, they say if you love what you do, you never go to work. And I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work. And I do a lot of consulting and I also own my own business. But one of the things I'm most proud of is a giant model railroad I'm building in my basement that very few of you will ever see. But it takes a lot of my time. And the gift of recovery has been my hobbies and my wife and reconnecting to children and putting my life back together. And recently, after many years of effort and working on it, I received a full pardon from Governor Mike DeWine for my criminal record in my past. And I think recovery was not about not doing drugs. Recovery for me was becoming the person I was meant to be. It was about reaching my full potential. And honestly, I think I had to find a way to take all that pain and misery that I caused and find a way to make it of value. How could I redeem myself? And I'll tell you what, I've been through a lot of horrible things in my life, as you can imagine. But the things that happened to me are not what keeps me up at night. It's the things I did. And when we talk about trauma, sometimes I think we forget about that side of the story. And I'm sure a lot of military veterans would probably tell you the same thing. One of the things that I had to come to terms with was forgiving myself for the things that I did. And I think that sort of internal trauma that many of us experience, a lot of that I dealt with in 12-step recovery. And that's part of what the 12 steps are about. It's about coming to terms with who and what I am and then how do I go about doing it. And although I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for the things I've done, I think I've been able to come to terms with it and in my life find some redemption in the fact that I don't know that I've ever helped anyone, but I've worked with a lot of people while they helped themselves. And I think I find some peace in that. Just in case any of you lay in bed at night and strap yourself into the nuclear-powered butt-kicking machine and spend all night dialing it in just because you know right where it hurts the worst, that's not alone. And I'll tell you what I do. That serenity prayer is a powerful thing. And when I start to do that and reflect in a negative way on something, I immediately start reciting the serenity prayer in my head. And this is why. It reminds me that there's absolutely nothing I'm going to do about my past. I can only do something about the present and the decisions I'm about to make and the way I live my life in the future. And that is a very, very powerful thing. And I think the most important thing in life is to stay busy doing something positive and constructive that you can be proud of and point at and take pride in. Because I never want anybody to look at anything I did and say, who in the world did that? So strive to be the best. Strive to put yourself first and take pride in everything you do, and you'll have a good life.